Hey everybody, we're back in Cuenca, Ecuador, and this is the safest city in South America. It's got a great cost of living, really good healthcare.
Yes.
And there's a fourth reason.
The weather.
Weather. So yeah, that's why people want to live here. What's about the weather that intrigues you?
Well, for me, the daily highs come in at about like 25 Celsius, about 76 Fahrenheit. Doesn't get any better than that. We don't see much snow, hardly ever. And hey, those two together.
And being on the equator, it's that temperature all year round. So if you want to live in Ecuador, there's probably about 15,000 Americans living here in Cuenca, Ecuador, with a population of 600,000. You're going to want to know how to navigate the system. And so we're back with our favorite attorney in Cuenca, Ecuador, and this is Grace. Hi, Grace.
Thank you. Thanks for having me today.
And so, Grace, we've got retirees, we've got people that are nomads. Some people are financially self-sufficient. What can you tell us about different ways people can come here, to make this a place that they can call home, to have the great quality of life that Cuenca offers?
Sure. When you first come to Ecuador, you just come on your passport. Make sure you have a minimum validity of 6 months in the passport. And then if you wanted to stay in the country, you can get a temporary residency visa, which is the visa that is available for expats. It's a visa good for 2 years. And it allows you to travel multiple times. There's no out of the country travel restrictions for that visa. You can keep it for 2 years, and then if you wanted to renew it, you can do so multiple times. But if you wanted to make it then into a permanent residency, because you're committed to stay in the country, you could do so after 21 months into the temporary residency visa. And to begin the residency visa application, you have many options. There's about 15 programs that Ecuador has for visas today.
15. Well, I know that Julie and I, we're actually going to be using Grace to get our temporary residency here in Ecuador, because if you're following us, we just jumped from Europe, where we've been traveling for the last 4.5 years, to come to Ecuador, which we're going to home base here, and we're going to take off about every other month and go travel somewhere, maybe Argentina, Chile, whatever. But we are home basing here in Cuenca because we really like it here, and the people here are fantastic. But we have a lot of different options that we have the ability to explore ourselves. And so Grace is kind of laying these out on the table for us. So first off, we're coming here for our initial 90 days, and then we will probably do a 90-day extension that we're allowed to get and while we're going through this application process.
Right.
And you can basically come here for 6 months with that extension. But if we do want to make this a longer term situation, can you kind of lay it out on how people can come here if they've got retirement, or if they've got different financial investing opportunities,
Or if they have a degree.
What are the most popular?
Yeah, well, the top residency visa options are about 6, I would say. For expats, mainly the pensioners visa, the retirement visa, which requires that you have 3 minimum wages of minimum salaries of an Ecuadorian worker every month that you receive as a pension. And so if you have a Social Security or a VA pension that you receive every month, you have to get the verification of the benefit letter from your country of origin, and then you need to bring other requirements that are common for all types of residency visas, which is the background check, national background check from where you had lived the past 5 years. For the United States, you need to come up with not only the FBI report, but also the state police report. because those documents prove that you have no records, and you have to not have been convicted for more than 5 years for murder, kidnapping, and other felonies like rape, for instance. And so those will be rejected. But in general, if you have the background check and in this case, the Social Security letter or other pension plan, you can opt for the pensioner's letter. Another way to apply for the visa would be the Rentiers Visa, which is an income-based visa, and this requires that you have proof of that you received again the same amount, 3 minimum salaries of an Ecuadorian, which currently is $470. But expect that it'll go up in next year. We're already in October right now, so for January it'll probably go up to 500. So currently you need to prove $1,410, but perhaps next year we will be having to prove at least $1,500 per month that you receive from as a profit of an investment that you have abroad, or even a lease contract. Other investments such as annuities or royalties, whatever you receive funds from, if it's passive income, it's part of what you need to apply for the Rentiers Visa.
So you mentioned annuities and having a rental income to be able to show that rent is coming in, and it's got to be basically $1,500 a month. Would stock dividends count in this category?
As long as you can prove that you receive the minimum every month
At
as a
$1,500.
return, $1,500.
And if I want to bring my wife with me, and so a single person's $1,500, does that mean $3,000 for a couple?
No, for the pensioner's visa, you need to add $250 for the Rentiers Visa, which is your specific question. Again, another $250.
So about $1,750 for a couple, about $1,500 for a single person to be able to prove that they can financially support themselves here. And we know a lot of people, and if you've seen our videos, that are living on like $1,000, $1,200, $1,300 a month here. So we know it's very, very doable to have a decent quality of life here with that income. And Social Security, people, I think right now you're looking at about almost $2,000 a month for a single person is the average Social Security check, and the average couple is bringing in about $3,000 in Social Security. So for most people on Social Security alone, you will qualify if you're drawing Social Security.
Yes, and you have other options as well. For instance, for the professional visa, as long as you have a degree that we can register here in Ecuador, then you have the basis for the residency, and in that case you don't have to prove the 3 salaries. As long as you can prove 1 salary per month that you receive in your bank every month for a period of time, then you can apply for the professional visa. Basically what you need to have is the diploma. You need to have your transcripts and a letter that states the mode of study and the classification of the career that you had studied. Then we help you register it here, and you have the basis for the residency, and you can just come later when you're ready, when you have current police reports. And if you're bringing a dependent, such as your wife or your children, because those are the only dependents you can bring as a temporary resident, you need to then bring documents that show the relationship, such as the marriage or the birth certificates for the children.
No additional income for them?
Not for the professional visa.
Oh.
All temporary residency visas, which are, as I mentioned, 15 types, do not allow you to bring dependents. Some require that you add certain income that you need to prove, such as the pensioner's visa, the digital nomad visa, Rentiers Visa, they require you provide proof of $250 per dependent, whereas the other ones, as long as you have at least the minimum salary of an Ecuadorian worker, it's enough. You need to prove that you're solvent, and supposedly that's what a family can live on for a month in Ecuador.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
So the investor visa is something I've seen quite a few people run around here with, which to me it sounds like it could be attractive, even if you check these other boxes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. A person, if they want to come here, so if you don't check these other boxes, but even if you check the other boxes, you can put $47,000 into a credit union or a bank here in Ecuador, and you get crazy interest rates from the credit union specifically. You get like a 8 to 11% potentially interest, and then the banks are maybe lower, like at 5 or 6%. And then you can draw the interest out while you're here. So if you put $50,000 in there and you're getting 10%, that's like $5,000 a year. So you'd be able to draw out that interest throughout the year. Is that correct?
Yes, you can use that CD as the basis for the residency application, along with the other requirements, and then you apply for that and you get a visa for 2 years, as long as you keep the principal for 730 days is what you need to keep the money for in the bank. And then you can also buy a property, which can be your residence. And currently for $47,000 municipal value, but it could be probably next year about $50,000 that the property needs to be worth. Of course, if you come as a couple in that case and the property is owned jointly, because that's how you buy property in Ecuador. If you're a married couple, it's understood as owned 50-50. So in that case, you'd have to buy a property worth $94,000 currently, but probably $100,000 next year. But that's a very good way to base the residency application, because most people do not have the other requirements. But if you have a little spare money, it's not a lot.
And so you mentioned homes here, because I know you do real estate for a lot of our viewers. By the way, we've done videos with her before, so she's helped quite a few of our viewers in the past with their residency. But with real estate, if they purchase a home here, you'll be able to help them out with the taxes and navigating all of the hurdles, because I do know there's some complications, especially if you don't speak Spanish. So you can make that happen.
That's part of our specialty. We do real estate, we do the investigation of the title to make sure that everything is in order, that you're buying and the property and getting outrights, the proper title. And be aware that you can buy property even as a tourist, and you will have the same rights as an Ecuadorian would. So it's safe to invest in property here and base your application on that. There's also the work visa that you can get, and also I wanted to mention that for certain types of visas, such as the pensioners and the Rentiers Visa and the digital Nomad visa, you need to have insurance in Ecuador. You have to have health insurance, and it has to have coverage for Ecuador.
And if you need any answers on getting insurance for your time in Ecuador, let me know. Just send me an email, warrenjulietravel@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to help you out. And for those of you that don't know, I'm an early retired insurance executive. I've got a lot of different carriers I work with, and I even got my local friends here in Cuenca, Ecuador, that they can make you a local policy here. But if you're traveling anywhere in the world, I can help you out. And you can check out warrenjulietravel.com for most of the carriers I'm working with. But for the Ecuador one specifically, shoot me an email and I will get you hooked up with my local contacts here.
And she just spoke about one last visa category I think we really want to talk about, which would be the digital nomad visa.
That's true. Yes, if you are a worker that has a contract with a company or you get a salary every month of at least five minimum wages of Ecuador. In this case, $1,410 or $1,500 next year probably. If you can get a proof of that, then you can apply for the digital Nomad visa. The contract needs to say that the work is remote. And be aware that all the documents that you bring from other countries need to be legalized. So if the country is part of the HEC convention, the document needs to be apostilled, and that's like an international notarization of documents.
It's a little difficult, but that's why you want to do some of this from the United States if you are coming from the US.
Yes, and we have an agent in the US that can help you either apostille it or even gather the document if you don't have the time. And like you did, we can help you get your fingerprints done
Yes.
here and then send them to the FBI.
Yes, that was a lot of help.
So I've got a question for you. What is the opportunity for somebody to come here to start a business?
It's pretty good because this country is picking up very well after the pandemic and everything. And there's a lot. It's becoming very popular among expats in other countries. And the economy is going well. It's pretty stable lately. And I think it's a good opportunity, especially because there are new things that foreigners can bring over here that we don't have, and could be a novelty and could be popular here, such as that business that you mentioned.
So if she's doing this, she'll obviously get residency as a business owner. Is there like a minimum type of situation, investment or employees or something for somebody to get residency as a business owner?
Sure. As long as she incorporates, and then if she gets all the paperwork and makes an investment of at least $47,000 in the company right now.
So it's that same $47,000 as an investor. You start a business to that $47,000. So there's a lot of different things you can do. The house, you can do starting a business, or you can put it in a bank or a credit union.
Yeah, and some people come as representatives of a company that is abroad. So legal representatives of corporations also can get the visa based on that.
Wow.
So a lot of different opportunities.
Also, remember that if you want to become a permanent resident, in other words, if you want to make the temporary residency visa into a permanent residency, you should not have left Ecuador for more than 90 days as a temporary resident, and then you're able to apply for permanent residency, which is an indefinite visa that you don't have to renew ever.
So if I know the rules correctly, you have on your first 2 years, you can leave 45 days a year without, and you can always renew your temporary a second time and third time if you want every 2 years. But on the next 2 years, if you didn't leave more than 45 days a year, you will be able to then leave for the next 2 years for 6 months a year. And then after that, you just have to show back up like for a few days every 2 years.
That's correct. To keep your permanent residency, the requirement is that you do not leave Ecuador for more than 180 days every year for the first 2 years. And afterwards, on the third year and onwards, you cannot leave the country for more than 2 years to keep your residency.
Okay. And so with the permanent residency, is there a path to Ecuadorian citizenship, or is that stop there?
Yes. No, you do have the option to become a citizen of Ecuador, but think a little ahead, because if you, as a permanent resident, had left more than 180 days in 3 years, then you cannot apply. So be careful. Do not leave Ecuador for 6 months in the first year, the second year, and the third year of permanent residency to be eligible to apply for citizenship and learn Spanish.
So you have to know how to speak Spanish to get citizenship. And do they allow dual citizenship? If somebody becomes an Ecuadorian citizen, do they have to give up American citizenship?
No, no. Ecuador allows more than dual citizenship.
Are there any other words of wisdom about this whole process or something we haven't touched base on?
Yeah, I think I should say that all documents that come in a different country than Spanish, Spanish, then you need to have it translated here. I would prefer it be translated here because, first of all, it's less expensive, and you need to have an official translator do the translation for it to work properly. You can have the visa process when you come down here, or you can start working with us even beforehand. And we can also enter the application through the online process that they have implemented for the approval of visas.
Very cool. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Join us on Facebook as well. Look for Expats Slow Travel Nomad Network for our group there. We've got about 33,000 members there. Don't forget to subscribe here. And we hope that you're going to join us as we travel and try to explain to you how you can live abroad, travel abroad, and live a life of adventure. So until next time, have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.